Yo, Tommy Digital, Tommy Secuya back in the house. 10 MBA, 10 minutes on brand awareness. Let's go. Today, here's the question. Where do I start when it comes to brand awareness? The real basic answer to this is start anywhere. But the real answer, and I'm gonna jump to the climax and the conclusion of this vidcast by telling you the answer right smack at the beginning. Boom! What is the answer? Start with your brand. What? Start with your brand or a brand. The question is, do you have one? Well, how do you know when you have one? You have one when you understand what branding is. And we're going to spend an entire episode just talking about what branding is. But today, I just want to tell you what it's not. What it's not is it's not a logo, it's not your typography, it's not your identity system, it's not your product. It's the sum of all its parts. And so there is confusion on what it is in the minds of a lot of people. And what we seek to do is to clarify that. Now, if we get to clarify what branding is for you and what a brand is, would it help you clarify what your brand is? Great. So if you get to a point of clarity, we've achieved it. We've done our job. Here's why a lot of people do not make this a priority. It takes a backseat, a back burner in a whole list of things that we need to do with our business. The reason for that is there is no immediate return of value, or that's what we traditionally believe. We think that there is a strategic claim to it, a strategic value to it, but there isn't anything immediate. What's more important is build a product that sells. And yes, when the product sells, like I said before, we oftentimes put it on ice and forget about it until we really, really desperately need to focus on it. Which in that moment, you realize, I should have done this since the beginning. And we don't want you to go through that. So if you, by happenstance or by chance, are still starting your business, really, really work on the brand. Now, one of the parts of the brand is identity. And we're gonna talk about that in just a little bit. But look, let me define for you the immediate and the strategic. So when you talk about having a brand, the long-term effect of it is to develop this really great brand equity. A good example is McDonald's, the Golden Arches, right? The Golden Arches is easily recognizable by a 3-year-old that it is McDonald's, and that was their goal. One of their goals at the very least. And so great branding develops great brand equity. Therefore, you know you have a brand, and it is a long-term effect. And so what is a brand really, except it is something that is done in the mind. When they are aware of who you are and what it is, then you have achieved it. And that's great, but that's secondary. What is immediate? What do you think? Well, here's the answer. The immediate answer is knowing. Dun, dun, dun. Knowing, ladies and gentlemen. Dun, dun, dun. Knowing who you are and what you are. Look, what do I mean? If I ask you to tell me 3 things about yourself in 5 seconds, you should be able to answer me, and it should be easy because you know who you are. You have severe clarity on who you are. Well, if you don't, then we have bigger problems. But typically, we know ourselves, right? We know who we are. We can define ourselves. And that's because all our lives we've been working on it. But a product is different. It has a structure, it has a process, it has a function, but its identity, it has to be created and has to be built. It's something that has to be assigned to it. And so as the brand owner, as the business owner, we need to do that for ourselves. We need to do that for our business. Why is it super important? When you know who you are, you know where you're going. You know what to do. You know who you want to talk to. See, I always believe that identity comes before activity. Most of us got it in reverse. We focus a lot on the activity first. We distribute, we spread the word, we do advertisements, we do ads, we do promotions with a brand that's unclear. And you see that causes a lot of issues. And you can tell if a brand is like this because it's shotgun, spray fire. It's like they're doing this, that, and the third. They're everything to everyone. And you do know that if you try to be everything to everyone, you become no one. The way to be truly remarkable is to be known for expertise, specialization. You've ever gone to a restaurant with a menu this thick and you don't really remember what you could order there. You just remember probably what you ate and what your experience was. That's the kind of experience that you're going to create if you try to be everything to everyone. One of the biggest horror stories that you would ever hear as a designer, as a brand strategist, is when you go through discovery and you ask, who's your audience, who's your client, who's your customer? And the answer is everyone. Everyone means no one. You have to be able to tell me. You can't answer me and say women. Every woman is different. There's so many subcategories, and we're just talking about demographic. What about the psychographics? What about the pain, the gain, the value proposition that would matter to somebody? What about when you empathize to each of these people? They're very, very different until you find that very beautiful core that you are after and speak to that. The problem when you focus too much on activity and not on your identity, you don't even give it a little bit of priority, is that you wouldn't know how to communicate. And what is a business nowadays? It's customer-centric, relationship-centric, thereby it is strung together by a thread called communication. And sometimes we even call communication marketing. And communication is so important because you know what happens when you don't talk, when you're in a relationship. Am I right? But you're trying to communicate who you are. You're trying to listen to what they have to say and what they want so you can become a better product and a better brand. And so if you're unable to do that because you don't even know who you are, then it is counterintuitive for you, counterintuitive for a business. So if you're really struggling with brand awareness, dial it back, stop for a minute, and go back to the core. Ask yourself, what is my brand? Who is my brand? What is the brand that I'm trying to spread? Once the brand is clear, the narrative will be clear. Once the narrative becomes clear, the communication you desire will happen. So once again, this has been a great episode and I hope this was helpful. We want you, the listener, the watcher, the viewer, to be able to grow your business through brand awareness, through the 10 minutes on brand awareness that we do. We hope that you take away a little at a time and be able to build and construct for yourself a compelling story and a really, really strong brand. Well, I'll see you on the next video. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We want to be helpful, so let us know what you would want to talk about moving forward. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And this has been great. And I want to give a shout out to everybody who made this video cast happen. Thank you. You know who you are. To all the mentors and the people who are giving me advice. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited to keep doing this. Thank you for all your support. Once again, 10 MBA, 10 minutes on brand awareness. We want you to grow your business 10x. See, we're out. Tommy Digital, peace out. See you on the next video.